See if I can get a full screen view of this. A full screen view of this. Testing. How's the mic? A full screen view of this. Testing. How's the mic? Okay, cool. That's good. It's repeating. Alrighty. Let's do this. This is my first ever time on a live stream, and if any of you are joining, that will be an absolute miracle. But today, I wanted to talk about the theory that Mr. Hormozy talks about a lot, Alex Hormozy. Let me see if I can get this up, by the way, 1 second. There's going to be some bugs today, and bear with me, blah, blah, blah. But it's my first time. There we go. Okay, I can see myself now. So, first off, before we get into this, I just wanted to go through, like, why am I even live streaming? Why am I even doing this? What's this all about? Etc. etc. Well, essentially, I was watching a video the other day, and the guy on the video went to a convention with Mr. Beast. And while he was at the convention, there were lots of people going up on stage getting awards for different things. And essentially there were 4 different types of people that went up. They were all YouTubers. It was like a YouTube convention. And the first group that went up were the people that did all the shorts, like the short form content. And they went up on stage and there was a big applause, right? And everyone was like, woo, happy for them, etc. Then there were the long form guys, right? And they went up and there was a bigger applause and everyone was really happy for them. Then there were the podcasters and everyone was like, oh my god, I love the podcast, and they heard like cheers and woo, and it was amazing. And then, let me see if I can, probably a smart choice to do this. There we go, I told you there'd be bugs. Just a bit of construction work going on. I'll leave you in suspense. There we go. And then there were the live streamers, right? And the live streamers, they got a massive round of applause, and everyone was super happy, and their love for them was just incredible. And what the guy said on the video was, well, the thing is, when you do live streams, people have more opportunity to connect with you. You can't fake this, you know, I can't just magically edit this afterwards. I'm spending time with you guys, and really what it does is one word which comes to mind, which is authenticity. And I was discussing this yesterday with a bunch of guys, and that is what created this topic for today, because we sat down for 4 hours and we went deep on this topic of why do people do things? And it's always been a fascination of mine. Little quick story just for some like background context. When I was a kid, I was obese. I hit puberty 4 to 5 years late because I was so overweight. I had so much estrogen being produced in my body because I had so much fat on my body. And I was fitting into large men's clothes when I was a kid. And I actually couldn't hit puberty for so long because I didn't have enough testosterone to get into puberty. It's crazy. And so I had a high voice when I was in for you Americans, grade 11 or like seniors, whatever. And for us in the UK, it's like year 11, year 10. Which obviously led to some bullying and blah, 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 and it was all that fun stuff. But the reason why I'm saying this is because I was hugely motivated at times, and at other times I wasn't motivated. And so it's always been a fascination of mine to be like, well, what does motivation come from? And I own this gym, which is Cali Unity, which is a gym in Bath, which the whole purpose of it is it's a community to grow the community. So I actually don't do anything on that gym anymore. It completely runs itself. It's completely community-led. We have a whole sales team, we have a whole fulfillment team, we have a whole managing team, a whole coaching team, marketing. It's all outsourced. And the whole goal is to make the community healthier, give health and fitness to those that can't come to the gym, and to provide that for everyone. And when I first got into the gym, gym owner, I thought it was all about, I'm going to make the best program in the world, and I'm going to make the best system, and I'm going to make sure people show up. And then the more and more I got into it, I realized it's just behavior, and it's just psychology. And it's just helping people to get into routines and habits. And that, for me, is what sales is, which is a transference of belief over a bridge of trust, which is really just making someone believe in themselves, making sure that they can actually do it, and providing them the systems and structures to make sure they keep doing it. Cool. So this brings me to yesterday. So I was sitting with a bunch of legends. We were about 4 or 5 entrepreneurs. I went to a little mastermind. It was really lovely. And we were talking about this topic, and I made a statement from someone I look up to a lot, and I said that I believe that motivation is the equal opposite of deprivation. And the reason why is because I believe that I know all the arguments, I know all the counter arguments. This is the theme of these lives that I'm doing. It's like, prove me wrong. I'm gonna explain both sides and the way that I see it and what I've heard. I would love you guys to comment on the YouTube video when it's live, join me on the live streams, talk to me about it, give me different perspectives, something to talk about, and because I would love to create these videos and these live streams from different perspectives, so then when I make a YouTube video about it, we can have as many different opinions and perspectives as possible, because I just like to go deep into these topics. Right? I'm not a psychologist, I'm not anything special. I just help a lot of people in the gym. I've helped myself, and I just love doing this stuff. I love teaching it. I love talking about the reasons that I understand and the way I see it. And it's my belief that if you can't explain something, you don't understand it, and that belief wasn't yours. You were given it by someone else. And so I actually challenge myself to defend my opinions, and from there I can get a deeper understanding of the world, and you guys get to come along on the journey. So I just thought it was a win-win. I'm going to be doing this every single day at 12 o'clock Vancouver time, so I think it's 8 p.m. UK time. I don't know about the other times, but come along, join me on the live stream. I'll be posting it live on my socials, so come along, jam with me. It'll be really, really fun. So let's talk about motivation as the equal opposite of deprivation. So the first story that I can think of is the story of the mouse in a tube. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna have to draw a mouse. Bam, 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 bam. Little tail, little head, little ears. That way, and then you'll see what this is. Spring. Okay. That's actually pretty good. I'm proud of that. Can you see that lovely on there? Okay, cool. You can. All right. So I'm just gonna make sure the live stream can see it. It's kind of in reverse. All right, whatever. We can maybe flip that around. Whatever. So what I kind of realized, this study. So what they did is they put a starved mouse or a rat, whatever, in a tube, right? And they attached a little spring to the mouse's tail, and they wafted the smell of cheese in through the front of the tube. And obviously, the mouse is hungry, so the mouse pulled towards the cheese. Am I going to draw some cheese? There you go. Tasty cheese, okay? So the mouse ran towards the cheese, and how much the mouse pulled on the spring was almost like a proxy for desire, right? How much it wanted it. Then, and this is perfect because I've got a prop for this. Then they wafted the smell of the cat in through the back, and so the cat was here, and the mouse was obviously like running away because the cat is obviously not a good thing. Thanks for that, Leah. You can go have another sleep now. It's all good. Right, back to sleeping. You get me? He's like, what the hell? The cat smell in the back, the mouse pulled, and don't quote me on this, but a lot harder, like a lot harder. And what that showed was that, hey, and also this was, I think, while they were also wafting the smell of cheese in through the front. And so what that showed was people, things, mouse, animals, our ability to run away from something, or our desire to run away from things, is more than the ability to run towards things. Okay, cool. So that's the kind of first thing in my brain that kind of led to this conclusion. The second thing was just thinking through motivation in general. Okay, so when are you most motivated to eat? When you're hungry, right? When there's a lack. Okay. When are you most horny? When you haven't had sex in a while. Okay. When are you most thirsty? When you haven't drank in a while. And so it comes from this deprivation of things, right? So again, we think of the time, right? And it goes up more and more and more, right? Obviously, it's pretty simple. Like this is the proxy right here, right? This is like desire, right? And this is time or whatever. It's like when we think about food, thirst, whatever, right? The more time and the more you spend in that state, the more desire you have for the thing. And so that then led to, again, motivation equaling the equal opposite of deprivation. Okay, cool. What else have we got here? So there was another study I heard, which was that people are, I think this was in Thinking Fast and Slow, which is that people are risk adverse, right? And this comes from, again, evolution, right? Where we were in the savannah or whatever. And let's say you're walking along the savannah and suddenly out of the blue, you're not looking because you're not worried about kind of looking around you. You're just like, la 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 la, I'm enjoying life, like I'm whatever, I'm just walking down this road and I'm taking on things. No. Back then, you're probably like scanning everywhere. You're scared, or you're more likely to save for the winter than eat your food now, right? So we're much more risk adverse than we are optimistic. Nowadays, it's bullshit because the only thing you have to basically make sure that you're not doing is dying or end up in hospital or do anything illegal, right? That's it. Other than that, it's an unlimited upside. You just don't have to, don't ruin your reputation and you're good. But back then, that's how our brains are wired, that we always run away from things rather than towards things. And so this is just a general simple thing, which is loss aversion. I think it was like 2x, is 2x stronger than gain. And that came from, I think it was a study of people either being given a certain amount of money and then it being taken away, as opposed to just being given it. But essentially what they found was that people would rather not lose £2 than gain a pound or dollars or whatever, right? It's like a 1 to 2 ratio, right? So if we look at this here, like $1 gain is almost the same as, well, in this case, it would be a 50 cent or like a half loss. Does that make sense? Maybe the other way around. You would rather, yeah, I think so. But basically what it is that your loss aversion, I'll say it another way to make it easier, your loss aversion is 2x more, here we go, your loss aversion is 2x the gain, adversion, blah, 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 okay? Interesting. That was like a big one. I was like, oh wow, and that's Thinking Fast and Slow. Really, really good book. So then I understood the world of sales, right? I got into sales, I got into understanding marketing and how that world worked. And at first, if you don't know, I have an engineering degree. I'm all about products. I'm like, make an amazing product. And the product will speak for itself, like, build it and they will come. And then I kind of realized that human beings actually don't understand intrinsically value and it has to be related to them. I'll do a whole other video on this. I've got so many thoughts. But what I actually found was that the people that I had deeper conversations with were more likely to sign up and join the gym. And they actually got better results. And I was like, huh, interesting. Why is that? And this, again, just as a frame for this, I realized that if I could become better at sales, which is, by the way, equal to coaching, same thing, then if I could become better at coaching, I could increase the likelihood that someone will make a decision to help themselves, as long as I felt that the outcome or the thing or the mechanism to help them was the best thing for them. If it wasn't, I had to make sure to stay true to myself and say, no, this is not for you. But if I genuinely felt that the product or service that we had was the best thing for them, then on that note, I realized that actually if I went deeper in a sale, then that would get better. So what I started doing was, at first, I was all about, think about the dream, you know, think of how amazing you're going to be, think of 10 out of 10 you. And then I realized it was so much more powerful to ask them, what happens if you don't do this? Have you been here before? Okay, do you reckon the fact that you've been here before means that you led to where you are now? Are you sure you want to do that again? What happens if you wait until next year? Are you sure you can't do this? What is 0 out of 10? We got really clear on your 10 out of 10. What is 0 out of 10? What are you running away from? And this was a big thing, and then at this time, I think it was Chris Williams' Modern Wisdom, he said it so clearly, which is, if you're running a marathon, okay, this is, I'll remind myself, for 26.2 miles. And at the end of it was 1 million, okay? You'd be pretty like, okay, I want to run that marathon, yeah? Okay, but what about if Chris Williamson, I don't know, I'm picking on Chris, but whatever, was holding a gun, look at that, perfect gun, to someone that means a lot to you, that you love, that you really cherish. And he said, if you don't run this fucking marathon, I'm going to shoot them. More motivation, right? Cool. So what number does this have to be to equal that? I don't know. I don't think this can even get close. It's almost like a different frame. It can't even get there. And so what I realized was, okay, I'm not going to go hold a gun to their friends and families' heads. But what I am going to do is I'm going to try to understand the deep reasons why people want to do stuff. And once I do that, then I can actually decrease the action threshold for them to actually make movement, to go into something. And that's when I just, again, got reinforced that motivation is the equal opposite of deprivation. Okay, so and the coaching company at the time said to me, if they cry, they buy, which is kind of like tough, but it's true. I think it's literally, I think sometimes, okay, let's think of another example of this. Think of recovery, okay? So in recovery, it's very well known that if someone comes into it and they're not in enough pain, they won't change, right? Let me write here, I'll write 12-step. This is, by the way, this is all the for the statement, and this will all be against. Okay? So 12-step, it's if you read the, I read the big book, really good book actually from 12-step recovery, because I was like, well, this clearly gets the best results of all the recovery stuff, like holy shit. And there was a chapter on there which was on helping others. And what it said in there was, if your partner or your husband or your wife or whatever is an alcoholic, then they might not be in a stage to actually make a change, and sometimes they might have to fall even more to then make the decision to then get started. And again, if we look at the word decision, it comes from decidere, which means to kill off. And so there's two paths, and so literally it's very simple. Prioritizing it, or strategy, or priority essentially is choosing that path, right? It's eliminating alternatives. And so you have to and this is where the word humbleness comes from. I think humility literally comes from the earth, right? Which means to be grounded, right? It means to be like you're not so special, you're not so amazing, right? And you have to do this path, which is the highest likelihood of you getting the thing that you want. And so, again, this comes back to this whole point in 12 steps. Sometimes you have to fall even more to actually start. And this is when I got to the point in sales where I was like, I spent so long trying to understand everything, and I realized, oh, I can't get someone to make a decision. It's impossible. It's like Inception. If you watch the movie Inception, you can only plant the idea in someone else's brain, or maybe help them to see it in a new way. So if you think of Inception, what they did was they essentially instilled the idea that his dad loved him rather than hated him, which then from there created loads of associations, which then got him to change his view on his father and then not continue his legacy, or it was either one other way of those. And so again, if I said to you, don't think of purple elephants, what do you think of, right? It's like, I can't literally put it in your brain. It's my belief that I can't make you feel anything. Don't worry, we'll talk about that another day as well. But in terms of this, I think it's, you can ask people questions, then get them to have a greater awareness of where they're at. Obviously, you have leading questions, and again, my sister's doing a therapy course and counselling course, so she's talking to you all about this, and I kind of understand it all. But it's very much, you have to make sure that you're asking these questions to bring it out in that person. Okay, cool. So I guess another thing is, I always think of the analogy of crawling through glass. Okay, and you got someone here, because he's definitely crawling through glass. Good drawing. I'll get better at the drawing, I promise. And what it essentially for me is, give a man a purpose and he'll crawl through glass with a smile. Right? When you have an overarching goal and you have something that you're suffering towards, then the deprivation actually becomes like, let's fucking go, because you have this higher thing. Now, actually, you could argue that that is linked to this, because that is obviously leading towards a higher purpose. Yes, fair point. I'll come to that in a second. But I think it's sometimes the suffering, it's the fact that it's hard that actually makes it enjoyable. You know, so for example, there's a local mountain that I do here every single week called the Grouse Grind, and some people get the gondola up. And I guarantee they don't feel good getting the gondola up. They're like, wow, nice view, who cares? The view comes from the fact that you climbed it, and it was a hard fucking climb. So really, it's, if you think about this, it's crawling through glass, which is climbing the mountain in order to get the higher goal of the view, or getting to the purpose, which in that sense, in terms of this, is the higher purpose. So really, it's the suffering that's the important part. Anyway, so then, because I always try and question my beliefs, I really do. Like everything I think, I try to question all of it. And I'm like, I don't believe that. I try to question all of them. We question all of our beliefs except for the ones that we truly believe and those that we never think to question. Yes, Ollie, I know you're right. So, then I was like, well, what about good feelings, like the release of serotonin or dopamine? Like that is just an inherently good thing. And then I realized, okay, so I got 2 points here. Number one is orgasms. How am I gonna draw an orgasm? Let's not go down there. Let's call it. Let's do this. Okay, that could be orgasm. That could be the face for orgasm. Okay, nice, whatever. But what it is I realized that I was just researching something, and what essentially was found was. Orgasm isn't the release of a nice feeling, it's the release of tension. Right, cool. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized that a lot of these things were actually a release, right? It's the build-up of tension, then the release. And that was another really good one to kind of realize that, of like actually working towards something and getting it and releasing is the good thing. And then the second thing that I realized was reward cycles. So let's go through this. So you can tell the intelligence of someone by how well they relate a reward to an input. There's loads of different definitions of intelligence. We were talking about this yesterday as well, and we can go through that in another video. But think of it like this: if you're teaching a dog to sit, right, and the dog sits, and you immediately give them a treat, the dog associates sit with treat. They get a reward cycle. They keep doing that. Okay, cool. But if you say to the dog sit, and then 10 minutes later you give it a steak, the thing is the potency of the stimulus, the potency in respect to the delta between the action and getting the stimulus is the delta is more important than the height of the graph, which is like how big the actual reward is, right? And so when it comes to this, what I realized was a lot of times in life, we are scrolling all day and we just get instant dopamine hits, but we're not doing anything to get that reward, right? We're sitting there all day and we're scrolling, but we're getting all these hits, and what happens is the dopamine then desensitizes because your body is getting flooded with dopamine, but it doesn't understand that when I do X, I get Y. And so what I realized was dopamine's great, reward is great, but I have to associate something good beforehand, or something that was suffering, or something that was hard, or something that I had to do in order to get that response. Okay? Now again, you can link this in, dopamine, serotonin, yeah, that is a pull, it's a good feeling, etc. So I get it. I'll go through this whole argument now. I'm just going to see if I've missed anything on here. So, and again, yeah, I think this is true, which is like an overall statement, which is people act when the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of suffering, right? So let's say same outweighs change. Okay, so let's do pain. Right, so the pain of change outweighs the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change. That's a really, really good point. So again, motivation often comes from deprivation, which is lack, scarcity, suffering, right? I think I touched on a lot of the kind of points there. And one last thing when it comes to the pain of staying the same greater than the pain of change is it's all about just the action threshold of then just kind of leaning in and doing those things, okay? But let's go to the other side. And so the statement on the board is pretty clear, right? It's like motivation is the equal opposite of deprivation, right? Okay. And what we're now kind of coming into is, well, are there any other factors which could pull people to do things? Okay, and this is the kind of, when you see it like this, I see this as like a push. People are being pushed to do something, and this is a pull, right? Which is people are being pulled to do something. So, someone's calling me, sorry. Okay, so the obvious one for this is, well, if you have a dream or you have something that you want and you have this like intrinsic sense of purpose to do it, then surely that's a pull. Okay, 100%. Now the way I think about this was when I first started fitness and training, I was very insecure. Right, I mentioned I was obese and I had issues with my weight and just general body confidence. Okay. And at first, I just wanted to feel attractive. I just wanted to attract girls. I went to an all-boys school, and I had no idea what I was doing, and all that kind of stuff. But At first, obviously, you get into the gym because of maybe of those things. That was enough to get me over this threshold. But then now, like, I keep going because I love it. I keep going because I love training. I keep going because I love doing it. I love turning up day by day. That for me makes me feel alive. It makes the day easier. And so the analogy I think of is brushing your teeth. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get so much better at my drawings. I mean, if I brush my teeth with that, my teeth would probably fall out. But anyway, when you were a kid, you didn't want to brush your teeth, and your parents were like, Ollie, brush your goddamn teeth, it's good for you, right? You had external motivation. They kept you accountable in order to start that. But now, you brush your teeth. Now, the question I have in my mind, I'm always arguing, is do you brush your teeth because it feels good to brush your teeth? Or do you brush your teeth because you don't want them to fall out? I think the answer is both. And this is why I personally don't agree with the statement, which is motivation is kind of like the only source of motivation comes from the equal opposite of deprivation, right? But in my opinion, deprivation is, I say, 5x stronger, right? Again, in here it's 2x, but I think it's 5x stronger, and I personally leverage the deprivation more, and I find I get more of that. But I also think, why not use both? You know, why not use the pull of the future? One of my best ever sales guys, Brian, he spoke a lot about the dream. Where do you want to go? He got incredible success. People changed their lives. It was amazing. People with me, I go a lot deeper. Right? I go into the pain. I go into what happens if you don't do this, etc. And that worked. Right? Both of them got people to make decisions and actually get out of the state they were in and have and take action towards that. But that's a big part of it, which is you might have to have external motivations then bring you the internal. And so how can it, if it's an internal motivator, how can there be deprivation there? But you can see how brushing your teeth might be about, again, you're more afraid of going to the doctor and paying the dentist bills and getting your teeth done, as opposed to the feeling of brushing your teeth, feeling good, feeling attractive, etc. Right? And this is the general, so the guy yesterday, Danny, really good dude, he was talking, he loves Tony Robbins, and this is the Tony Robbins kind of framework of the whole, push and pull, we have to use both. Sometimes, for me, and this is why I do this stuff, right? I was thinking about it, I was like, why do I feel the need to do this? I just feel an inherent desire, pull, from the universe, from God, whatever the fuck you want to call it, to do this. And I'll touch on it another day, but essentially when I was young, I wasn't posting much. I was talking to a friend, and a few weeks later he said, hey man, you don't really know who I am, we haven't spoken much, but you stopped me from killing myself. And from that moment I realised that at that time I was quite a nihilist. I thought that the world didn't matter, who cares, we're all going to die. And in that moment, my whole world switched to actually, no, everything's important. The world is beautiful, and everything that we do is important. I'm just going to turn on the aircon because it's getting hot. And so, when I do these videos, I'm not running away from something. But then you could argue, hey, I can see how this could lead to something else, which could lead to me getting away from this thing. Maybe I feel lonely, therefore I'm running away from that. I don't know. But for me, at the minute, it feels more like I just fucking love talking about this stuff. Again, I'm on the live stream right now, and no one's turned up. Amazing. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I love talking about this stuff. I love teaching it. If no one ever watched any of these, I'd keep doing it. But I tell you what, if 100 people are watching, if 1,000 people are watching, if I was interacting with you guys, I reckon 100% that I'd get more feedback loops and this would be more enjoyable, right? And so that was a big thing for me there to realise that, hey, maybe it isn't just about deprivation. There is one thing I missed here. So yesterday I was talking to the guys, and I mentioned how I actually engineer scarcity in my life. So deprivation comes from a perceived lack, because you're born, you have a bunch of sensory experiences, then you die, right? And it's up to you how you interpret those sensory experiences. And you can label something as good or bad. And so what I've kind of realized in my life was, okay, there are some things that make me feel bad, and I may as well just use those things for good. Because in my opinion, if you use something bad in order to create something good, it's almost like alchemy, right? Like, who cares about the bad thing? You did something good. So just use all the fuel you've got, right? And so, actually, I'm going to put that here. Like, use all the fuel. Anyway, and so what I realized in that moment was that I think you can work towards something higher. And one of the guys, David, was talking about God, which is like this higher power idea. Like, you can work towards a higher power of just wanting to help people. And I personally don't believe in the act of pure selflessness. I don't believe it exists. I think we do it because it makes us feel good. In Awareness by Anthony DeMello, he talks about enlightened self-interest, which essentially, you do good things because it makes you feel good, right? Because you can't control someone else's reaction, so why would you even do that? You're not doing it for your person, you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it because it makes you feel good, which is fine. That's totally okay. It's not like you're doing a selfish thing. Anyway, I'm going off course. So another thing that I can think of is kids, parents. It's this pure love, right? And they're using love as a fuel to do things, right? And it's that for me comes with the kind of whole passion thing. You think of Steve Jobs when his graduation talk saying, like, if you do something that you enjoy, you need to do that, because the thing is, on the days that you want to quit, you'll keep doing it. Again, if no one turned up to this for a year, I have to be really fucking mentally strong, because I'm getting no feedback loops from the world saying this is good. But in my brain, I'm like, I fucking love doing this, and this is my feedback loop, and I enjoy it, and I feel good after this. And so hopefully, I'll just keep doing it, right? And so sometimes it's that love that can drive you to keep doing the thing and give you that fuel to kind of keep going, right? And this kind of links into Naval. Naval says this, Naval Ravikant, which is happiness is the lack of wanting, which comes from the lack of desire, which desire is suffering, right? And so he kind of says that its presence is greater than pain. It's like when you're in the moment and you're just there and you're feeling it fully, then it creates motivation. I think I've always been afraid in my life to run out of motivation, because I like me. I like how hard I work. I like how hard I push other people. And I sometimes feel like if I'm just happy and I'm good, then I have nothing bad, then I won't be pushed to do anything. But I think more times than not in my life, when I'm actually feeling good, I just work on things that are higher to myself. I just work on things that are bigger scale, bigger thinking, more important globally, rather than just thinking of myself, right? And so that's that kind of mindset. What else? I think overall as well, you think of, so the argument that I always say to people when they say, well, what about people that want to do something? Okay, let's say you want to get rich. Okay, is it getting rich, or do you just not want to be poor? Okay, you want to get a partner. Do you want a partner, or just not want to be alone? Right. And I think to kind of sum it up, I mean, obviously, and this is why I need you guys. I need you guys in the comments. I need you here live, because I will have biases. It's kind of obvious where my bias is for this one. I personally believe that motivation comes from the equal opposite of deprivation. This is all I can really think of for the pulling of, like, motivation comes from wanting and the love of it and the desire. But I need you guys to give me reasons, and I'll try to riff on it. I'll try and talk about it. I'll try and add it. I'll do a version 2, a version 3 of this with my updated beliefs, right? Because I feel like our beliefs are fluid, they change all the time, and that's why I need you guys to help me out on this journey. It's a very selfish thing that I'm doing. I love teaching, I love talking about this stuff with other guys, so I'm like, well, why can't I just do it here? And I just want to hear your guys' opinions, and I want to talk about it. And also, I believe that there's a big problem going on in the world at the minute. I think we're in a crisis of meaning. I think we're in a crisis of trust. I think men are going through a crisis. I definitely was. I kind of still am in some ways, but by doing these kind of things, it helps me as well. And so I just want to bring people together. I want to talk about these big topics, and I want you guys to prove me wrong. And I want to be proved wrong, and I want my belief to change. And it's been the one thing and the one key theme throughout my life that I've always loved to do. I love to talk about this kind of stuff, philosophy, debating, etc. And so I invite you guys to go in the link below, click on school, and if you're a guy, you can join Momentum. I'm doing it only for guys because my fiance is going to be doing it for the women and the girls. I'm just going to be focusing on guys because, hey, I go through guy problems and I can help other guys through that as well. And so it's only for guys at the minute on the school community. We can talk about all things that guys go through, and guys are going through big problems at the minute. The leading killer of men under 55 or 50, I think, is suicide. 21 guys commit suicide a day in the UK, and men are 80% more likely to commit suicide than women. Tough. It's hard. It's crazy. So it's just something that draws me, it's a passion, and it's something that I want to do, and it's something that now that I have my needs sorted out, Cali Unity kind of was that in a way. I started in personal training, now I have a fully functioning business. It means that I have complete freedom in my life. It means that I've opened up the world to help other gyms and consulting. Now it's more about the love of it and helping and giving back, and that's why I'm doing this. So guys, look, if any of you got to the end of this, I love you loads. No one joined into the stream, but that's fine. How long have we been going for? We've been riffing for about 42 minutes, so I think hopefully we've got through a lot of the kind of fors and against this statement. I personally don't think it's entirely true. We were talking about this yesterday. I think so you can't step in the same river twice because you change and the river changes, but also the world just is, and we've created a language to try and describe things, right? And so we say the word motivation, but like that doesn't exist, right? Like we label it as dopamine, but it's a massive biochemical, neurochemical, absolute mix of things going on in the body, and psychological, and behavioral, and societal, everything, and genetic. There's so many factors at play that I think every statement that's said is up for debate. And that's why I want to talk about it, because I just want to deepen my understanding of the world, and hopefully in the same way deepen consciousness across the globe and open this dialogue so we can talk about these things. So guys, thank you so much for joining in. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did get anything from it, please leave a comment below. What do you think the motivation is the equal opposite of deprivation? Talk to me about it below. I respond to every single comment. You can DM me, go on my Instagram. It's the best way to kind of connect with me one-on-one on DM. Talk to me about this topic. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about it, and let's get to the bottom of it and really create this for and against so we can all understand the world a little bit better.